big good one here, and eventually we will like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Help promote and rank up my channel. Back to review Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 4. The whole world's watching. I think that's what the title is. This episode finally gives us what I've been, at least what I've been waiting for. Finally, we're getting somewhere. We're finally doing something. After 3 episodes of slow paced, and granted, this episode still, the first half, a large chunk of this episode feels pretty dull, feels pretty boring, and this is going to be a spoiler review. So let's go ahead and get into the mess that is this episode. Positives on this episode, getting more Zemo, that's always good. This guy's proven to be very charismatic, very likable, even though he is a villain. Maybe another Loki that can be long-lasting, even though I think they've overdone it with Loki. They've kind of overstayed his welcome. It's not that he's not likable and all that, and that I'm sick of him or anything. It's just that you fake out killed them so many times. But Zemo, in this episode, singing a lullaby to kids, giving them candy. That stuff was creepy. Zemo's escape was interesting. I have to wonder where it's going to go, where it's going to lead, if he's even going to come back, or if his arc is done for this show for now. But I have to think that Isaiah Bradley, and such a notable actor, was casted for that character for a reason. For multiple reasons. It's a notable actor, it's a notable character. To bring that in there and not revisit it, especially when you had Zemo eavesdropping on Falcon and Bucky's conversation, I have to think that's where that would go. But Zemo really surprised me this episode by telling Sam, and Sam too. Sam raising the question about, well, what about Bucky when it comes to the super soldier stuff? Because Zemo's a pretty consistent in his nature, in his beliefs, and he's just willingly working alongside Bucky. You would have to think that eventually there's going to be a conclusion to that question that wasn't really answered here. But Zemo really surprised me when he flat out told Bucky and Sam about the funeral knowledge that he learned, that Karli would be there. He's really become a charismatic, surprising, yet consistent character that just makes him likable. And him shooting Karli in this episode, I loved it. I wanted him to kill her, honestly. Maybe I'm a sick fuck or whatever, but I was like, yeah, get her. Get that bitch. And then him smashing all the super soldier serum without hesitation until getting whacked in the head. And this is a character that firmly believes his stuff. No compromise. It is a little convenient that only one was left unsmashed when he got whacked in the head. But Sam asking that question about Bucky, I do have to think that there's going to be a conclusion to that at some point. But for now, Zemo has escaped, and I don't know where the hell those Wakandans are going to go. I can't for the life of me think of that one character's name, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to keep the manhunt going until they find him. But this possibly wraps up Zemo's story for now. Battlestar possibly being dead. I'm not sure if he's dead or not, but if he is, that sucks. But also, it's an incredibly great tragic motivation and payoff. And John Walker, throughout this episode, the body language we've seen over the course of this series, the little ticks, twitches, the pacing, him just slightly losing it, going to town on flag smashes, and this episode with Super Soldier's formula, taking that vial that wasn't smashed, Lamar, Battlestar possibly being killed, that being something that sends John over the edge for a superhero landing, and beating Karli's fellow flag smasher to death with the shield in a crowded public place was dark, brutal, especially when you consider that particular flag smasher Cap was his childhood hero. So that's such a dark, epic payoff, and that's pretty messed up. That poor dude didn't deserve that shit, but that's what you get for running with Karli. So this episode did a really interesting, great job at showing you everybody's perspective, blurring those lines, showing that this is a murky, gray area to everything. Everybody's got a point. Everybody's also got a little bit of a craziness where they're crossing lines. Yeah, and Falcon is like the one character that they try to make sympathize and empathize with everybody, and him trying to reason with Karli, which is something that really made her slip through the cracks again, and this time possibly regretting it more than ever before, as she goes to a really uncomfortable place, threatening a sister, arranging a meet through a sister, and the gloves are off. So they finally made a lot of progress throughout this episode. Unfortunately, the first half was really slow paced, and we still didn't really learn what's up with Sharon Carter. Is she the power broker? Is she just working for the power broker? What's up with that? Anyways, so the negatives on this one, last week, everybody mistook Falcon as Smiling Tiger. But no matter where else he goes, like in this episode, they point out, hey, yeah, I know who you are. Everybody knows he's Falcon. Everywhere else he goes, everybody slowly, oh yeah, you're Falcon. Everybody knows. So why was he... it's just a nitpick, man. Come on, man. You can't have this dude getting recognized everywhere else and then maybe being mistaken for somebody else in a place like Madripoor, where these people would probably be pretty damn aware of who the Avengers are, so they can watch their backs, recognize them, know what they look like, all that. Which is a little far-fetched, crazy to me. But also, another one of the negative nitpicks is they really took their time this episode. It's really slow paced, really takes a long time to get anywhere. I mean, when it does get somewhere, it's great, and some of the stuff there in the slow paced section really made, like, the whole Karli's flag smasher friend was a fan of Captain America. That, him getting beat to death the way he was, if he hadn't had that dialogue scene and all that, that wouldn't have worked so well. It wouldn't have been so effective. But there's a lot of stuff that could have been cut here, a lot of little nitpicks, and I do have to complain about some of the dialogue, because it is always just like, when you hear dialogue, people talking about people that look like you, they need a leader, that people that look like them, like that kind of woke talk that is... sounds racist in itself. I mean, they pretty much identify everybody of their race looks exactly like them. That kind of stuff, that kind of talk, I cannot stand. I cannot stand woke dialogue, woke talk, woke speech. This show has had elements of that, little moments here and there, and then this kind of guy, this guy identifying Karli as a sort of Captain America stand-in. He said that she reminded him that, well, she's nothing like Cap. In many different ways, she doesn't represent anything like Cap, and he was saying that she was like his Captain America, his new Captain America, because Captain America was his childhood hero. Some things in here didn't really work for me. There's so many loose ends right now. There's so many loose ends right now with 2 episodes left. Let's talk about that. So the loose ends right now. You've got Zemo on the run. You've got this power broker. Nobody has the answer for who is. Maybe it's Sharon Carter. Maybe she just works for him. Then you've got the Wakandans who aren't going to stop hunting down Zemo. And then you've got the fact that they brought in a notable actor to play Isaiah Bradley. Isaiah Bradley is a notable character. And you wouldn't just introduce him as a throwaway, just as a nod or an Easter egg. There's got to be more to it. I would imagine that Zemo's going to go visit this guy, since he was eavesdropping in on the conversation, probably try to kill him, since Zemo doesn't compromise. And I would imagine that Zemo will eventually come for Bucky, as Bucky is a super soldier. So there's a lot of loose ends too. There's the whole fact that we know in the trailers and stuff, Falcon gets the shield and he practices and trains with it. So this means a PR nightmare. This John Walker guy's got to give up the shield, or it's got to be taken from him. And then there's the whole fact that they finally brought back Falcon's sister, kind of brought her back into it. And we still haven't wrapped up that whole subplot with her. And Did we just drop the Bucky subplot early on where he wanted to get forgiveness from that older man, or he needed to just tell him what happened to his son? There's a lot of things on here because you still got the Flag Smashers, you still got the Power Broker, you still got John Walker. There's just so many things in here that need to be wrapped up and touched upon, and there's only 2 episodes left. So can they do it? Will they do it effectively? I've kind of felt like they've drug ass on this series. There's a lot of stuff that could just be thrown out, done away with, cut, trimmed, rearranged, and the show really needs to have better pacing. Anyways, I thought this was a great episode in comparison to the first 2 episodes, because the payoff at the first half does suck. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below, but I would definitely say that this episode's likable in comparison to like the second episode or the first episode. Let's not forget that they've got the other guy, what's his name, who's supposed to become Falcon himself. They had introduced that character and just seemingly forgotten about him on this show, as they've gotten caught up in the whole Flag Smasher pursuit and Super Soldier Serum pursuit. But they've completely forgotten about that character, who you'd think would be on the verge of becoming Falcon or working his way up to it. But there's just so much on this show that they've introduced and then did nothing with. So it's not a perfect show. It's not a great show. It doesn't have me on the edge of my seat looking forward to every episode. It's just like, it's nice, it's okay, but come on, can we put our foot on the pedal already? Anyways, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Fake Good One here. Eventually we'll like, subscribe, share, stay on.